Okay, we're joined. I'll tell you what. I'll let you introduce yourself, sir.
So I'm George Bates. I was a student at Loughborough College from 2011 to 2012, and I play wheelchair basketball for Great Britain. I'm a current world champion, European champion, and I also play professionally in Spain.
Fantastic. Okay, George. So you was at Loughborough College. Yeah, like I say, it's what, nearly 8 years ago now.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
That is a long time, George. It's been a long time, and obviously since then
Old now.
you've you've gone obviously to be obviously like professional, and obviously representing your country, win the Worlds, the Europeans. So you've had a fantastic career so far, and obviously the Paralympics is still kind of where you want to be going, and that's one of the aims for you. With your job of being a professional athlete, what's the good things and what's the bad things about your job?
Good things are you get to travel the world, I'd say. Travel the world, live in different countries. Also, the main thing is representing your country. Anyone that plays any sport at a level as a child or as anyone who wants to represent their country, that's sort of the pinnacle of your career. The travel, the lifestyle, like I've lived in Italy for 3 years, lived in Spain for 2 years, so different cultures and the weather mainly compared to England's a lot better. And having a job that you enjoy, probably the main thing as well. There's always that saying, if you have a job that you enjoy, you never have to work a day in your life. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be in that sort of bracket. The negatives of it are also travel. The amount you travel, I spend a lot of times in airports, driving around. Like playing in Spain, it's a big country, so away games are long travels. Training can be difficult at times. Like you're training 5-6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like there's times where you're tired and physically you don't feel like you can, but you have to push through it. And living and playing professionally in Spain and Italy, my family, my friends are all back in the UK. So when like my grandparents are getting older and ill and stuff like that, I can't be there for it. And all I'm finding out is things through text and phone calls and stuff. So that bit's quite difficult. And with the amount that you train and stuff like that, sometimes you don't want to train. You have those days, weeks where that's really difficult. You have to sort of knuckle down and try and get through it, because no matter how much I love training, I enjoy it, but when you train that much for that many years, it sometimes you hit that little brick wall for a few weeks. So they're probably the main things.
So I mean, you was quite successful in your BTEC as well. You did really well at college. I think the one thing is obviously sometimes the myths of being a professional athlete is that it kind of just happens, it's natural, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that that's not the case. I know you've worked really hard for it. I mean, we were talking earlier about that you used to come into college before college, was it, to shoot hoops, to practice?
Yes.
And like I say, I think that's a really important factor. I think, what's your advice in the sense of what these guys can be doing at 16, 18? What could they be doing to prepare themselves best to become a professional athlete? What's the advice from you?
Well, the main thing, one of the biggest things, was the fact that I came to Loughborough College was the first step to sort of helping me. Like, I sort of thought, obviously, Loughborough with the sport background, I'd have a look at the courses and stuff going on there, and I had a chat with the head of like the sports departments and stuff like that, and they said that I'd have access to facilities and stuff like that. So I thought, along with like my learning, I'm going to be able to train. Like, before that, I was paying to hire sports halls to practice shooting and doing all that sort of stuff. Whereas when I was at the college, I was able to have access. It was early in the morning, but it was free. And at 16, 17, I couldn't keep affording to pay for sports halls and stuff like that. So like that was one of the biggest things I did that. And then obviously with like, I never took advantage of it, which I'm very surprised I didn't, but we had extended deadlines and stuff if we needed to with the amount of training and stuff like that. But I never took advantage of that. I got all my sort of work in, but that was there if I was needed. If I was still in like the GB juniors and stuff. If I was part of the men's team, it was a lot more training. So if I had broken into that point, I would have probably needed to do it with the amount that they train and travel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason for going to Loughborough.
So with your career then, obviously, what's been your best career decision, do you think, for yourself? What do you think has been a really standout moment for you?
When I came back to train in the UK after 3 years living in Italy, I think is the biggest thing. So I finished my course, and my mum and dad basically said that they'd sort of look after me for a year, but after that, I either have to get a job or sign a contract. So then after that year, I was lucky enough to move to Italy and sign for a team there, and I was there for 3 years. In those 3 years, I sort of went from obscurity in the national team. Like, I was training with them, but I'd never been to a tournament. I was still young, but I'd never been to a tournament with the men's team sort of thing. And the coach wanted me to come back for a year after that. So I took quite a substantial pay cut to come back to the UK and be based with a lot of, there was me and about 5 other guys that were my age, but were in a similar position. We trained every day in Sheffield at the AIS in Sheffield with the coach, and that was where the GB team was based. And that was the year that I sort of went from being on the fringe of the team to being in the team, and we won the World Championships that year with the core group of young kids. The average age was 23, 24. I think the other nations was all 31, and we won the World Championships with that. So I think taking that hit of financially, the pay cut, was probably one of the hardest decisions. I mean, I was still funded by GB and UK Sport, but I lost thousands coming back.
Yeah. But
in the long run, I knew, and my goal was to get in the team, and then from that point, I can then kick on.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I have, and we won the World Championships.
So, what's still to achieve in your career? What's the main goal?
Well, I've only ever had one goal really, and that was a Paralympic gold medal. So it's nice being a world champion, but I'd trade everything that I've won, and a European champion, but I'd trade everything that I've won in, even just to win one Paralympic gold medal. So that's, on basketball wise, that's the only thing. Like, I mean, I played professionally in Spain. I'd like to win some club titles, but if I'm honest, I've only really got one sort of goal on the court. And then I kind of feel, I know at the minute no team's ever won a World Championships, a Paralympics, and then a World Championships back to back. So if we're favourites, but most people are saying we're favourites to win a Paralympics, so we could create like a sort of dynasty of history, like no other national team, the great national teams that there's been of Canada and Australia, who've won multiple gold medals at the Paralympics and stuff in the last 20 years. No one's ever done that, so it'd be quite nice. We've got a young team, it'd be quite nice to try and get into that side of it. And then off court, I'm going to start to do some sort of open university. I'm not sure what yet, but that's my plan to get into that. And I'm also going to invest in real estate and stuff, because I'm fortunate at my job that I've got a nice living. When I'm in Spain and stuff, the club pay for all your accommodations and stuff like that, so I don't really have any outgoings. So I'm able to build deposits and money up to be able to buy housing and stuff that I'm going to rent out. And so after my career, I'll have some sort of income.
I think that's good that you're looking at a plan A and a plan B and a plan C, kind of looking at where it is. I think that's really important for pro athletes to do, really, to kind of, your career hopefully will last for another 10, 15 years, which is fantastic. But after that, then still be 20, 30 years where you'll be working, living age. So having that plan A and plan B is really important. And you've already
most athletes aren't footballers.
Yeah,
you don't get those salaries like you can't.
Exactly. I think you're dead right in there. So the last question for me, George, is if you could go back to talk to George Bates when he was in 2011 in BTEC, first year, what would you be saying to him?
I'd probably say carry on, just do what you did. Yeah. I feel like the way that my career progressed and stuff like that, and how like at college and getting that and realising what that is, that I do need a fallback. I mean, I'd probably say just do what you did. Like my mum and dad were pretty harsh on me that I couldn't just not have any form of education. Like that's like because of the injuries or short career, or I might not make it when I'm 17, 18. Like, I still didn't know that I was gonna like make it. So you had to have something. And then I think I'd say like really enjoy being at college. Like I missed the like thinking back at it for the 2 years I was there. Like the group we had was a really good group. Yeah. And I did enjoy it and stuff like that, but it was probably, they always say it, like one of the best times of your lives, and it was like, used to come in and as much as we got all our work done, we used to have a really good laugh and stuff like that, and just to really enjoy that time. Because it does change after that when you grow up. You do have to start making decisions and planning and stuff like that. When you're 17, you don't have to think of a thing, really.
Definitely. Brilliant, George. Thank you, mate. We really appreciate having time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.